Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the Island Shuffle, the show about shuffling an island.
And man, did we shuffle the island this week.
We shuffled the dang old island to hell and back.
To hell and back, which is a great intro for this week's show, which is all about God.
It's all about God and the devil, but it's not in season 6. Actually, it's in season 2, if you can believe it.
It's in season 2, back when the show was about something.
When the show could integrate religious themes into it without being, well, I'm going to say it's a little bit corny, but it's not, it's you know, I'm going to say
Corny in a different way.
Corny in a way that I think works a little bit better. Before we get going, actually, maybe we should, we'll save this for after the episode.
All right.
Yeah, where do you want to start this week?
Let's talk about, so this is an Echo episode. I think maybe Echo's first big episode.
It's Echo's first big episode if you were watching it normal style.
Yeah.
But if you're watching it us style, it's Echo's very last episode.
So, bizarre. I know. It's an unusual way to watch things.
Who would have guessed that we would have watched it in the wrong order?
You'll get used to it. Don't worry.
You'll get used to it. Don't even worry about it.
And so I would say let's do Echo's origin story.
I think so, because that also lends a bit more context to what's happening on the island.
It's so buck wild.
It's pretty big. It's a lot.
Echo is a little boy.
Echo is a little boy, and he's in Africa.
He's in Africa where basically it is sandy, and there is an orange filter over everything.
That's how you know that it is Africa.
Yeah.
And you also know that it's Africa because because it's shots of feet playing a soccer, and then it's also like the only soundtrack is like hand drums.
Oh yeah, it's all hand drums.
So it's very just like immediately it's Africa.
And then the men with guns come to terrorize the town beside the church.
Yes, just like how it is in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Just like how it is. So these men come. And a priest comes through and says, "Don't take the children." And the men with big rifles bop the priest on the back of the head, just to clarify that these guys are incredibly evil.
Yeah, that we'll take you're not the one to decide whether or not we take the children.
Yeah, of course.
The children decide that.
We do that.
Oh, we do. Sorry, I got that mixed up.
We do, because we run everything.
We run the show.
We're the bad guys with the guns.
We're the bad boys.
We're the baddest boys in all the land. Just in case you were, it might seem like these guys are actually good still. So thankfully the show does a bit more establishing that these are some evil, evil men.
Don't worry, they're bad.
They're bad. And how they show it is they put a gun in a little boy's hand and
put a man down in front of him.
Put a man down in front of him.
A villager man.
Mm-hmm. And they say, "Kill this man."
Bad.
Why?
Yeah, it's bad. To break the town, I guess.
To break the town.
To break the town.
And then the boy hesitates, and then a taller boy shoves the smaller boy aside, grabs the gun, and says,
"Bang!"
He says,
he says, "Bang!" with his gun.
He says,
and
bang.
He shoots the man in the head, and the whole town gasps.
The whole town does gasp, because it's shocking how quickly this boy took the gun. And didn't even hesitate. And the bad men are even surprised. They say, "Wow, no hesitation. A born killer. What's your name?" And the boy says, "My name is Echo." And he says, "Mr. Echo here, you're coming with us.
You're in, bud.
You're coming with us to be a child soldier, presumably."
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a bold one and say this is not a nuanced depiction of.
No, this is pretty on the nose.
As with their depiction of Iraq and Korea and other foreign places, it's pretty fucking. Here's all the signifiers in one scene.
Tends to be everything you would expect a stereotypic display of the circumstance to be.
Yes,
it sort of is.
And to a degree, they have like a third of an episode to establish a character's backstory and setting. So some shorthand, but also as with
they got every part.
Yeah, exactly.
They got the gangs, violence. They got the church. They got kids playing soccer in bad shoes.
I was most taken by the orange filter.
They got the orange filter. Hand drums.
Yeah, it's really just I don't know, man.
They had a woman carrying a basket on her head.
Yeah, it's all the because this isn't far from the first time we've talked about Lost at the time being like, whoa, it's set on an island, but every episode you're going somewhere different. But then, of course, they're like exotifying all the like non-Western places, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, so Lost, they did it again.
They did what they do.
They did what they are known to do, and nobody's surprised.
But you know what? You know what they do that's unusual? Is they speed the heck up at a time, and then the next time we go back to Nigeria, it's like 20 years later.
That's true. Echo now has cornrows and a sick-ass sleeveless duster.
It's really nice.
That's how you know he's evil now.
Yeah, exactly. The evil cornrow duster. And he is sitting at a table, and there's these men on the other side of the table, and they're like, we have so many drugs.
Yes.
And Echo's like, we'll give you 50,000.
Well, first things first, he does the classic drug dealer in a movie thing.
Ah, yes.
Where he pulls out a knife, and he stabs one of the pieces of drug, one of the parcels
one
of
the
drug.
big old drug bags.
And he licks a little bit of the knife.
Yeah, he tastes the drug.
Just once. I would love it if in one of those scenes, the person who does it is just like, oh my God, Jesus.
I'm too high to do business now. I shouldn't have just done heroin.
That was a mistake.
That was an awful idea.
I'm on the clock.
Yeah, exactly. My boss is going to kill me for this.
But no, it's always just fine. That would also be a great plan if you were a rival drug dealer.
Yeah.
Just sedate one of your drug packages. This guy's always tasting them on the knife.
He's always tasting them. So just give him a little X-Lax in the old package. He's going to be freaking on the John all day. Won't be able to do any drug dealing. And that's when you sneak in and burn down his town.
This is we should be running all these drug rings.
Yeah, we should. At least writing the story about it.
Exactly. The idea of like silly pranks happening is very funny to me. But not a silly prank. Instead, a very severe and serious ordeal happens. Echo says like, here's my price, and it's so cheap because this heroin is no good, and you need to get rid of it. But you can't fly it out.
No good here. No good in this country for some reason.
It's no good in this country for some reason, and also you can't leave because the borders are all militarized. The only way out is by flight, and the only way to fly out is either if you're with the Catholic missionaries or the UN. So I'll do you a favor, and I'll buy the drugs off of you for cheap. But that's my final offer. And and in response, the people selling the drugs to him are like, "It's true what they say about you. You have no soul."
That was a big mistake, if you ask me. You didn't need to say that.
Yeah, I will, like, because as far as drug dealing goes, it feels like he's being pretty pragmatic.
Yeah.
He's, like, kind of, like, breaking down the like, economics of the situation.
But you're going to deny the man his soul?
This means you don't have a soul.
This means you don't have a soul. It's like, well, what does that say about you? You're selling the drugs.
Unlike me, who is doing this for noble and good reasons.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for the community.
It's fucking stupid.
And so Echo, to be fair, Echo does immediately prove his point by slashing both their throats in one fell swoop, which is a move.
It's a cool move.
It's a heck of a move. And then a child comes in who was getting them beers, but the beers drop because he's shocked at the sight.
Drama.
The Echo's cronies put their gun at the boy, and Echo says, "No. We're going to let you live, and you're going to tell everybody that I, Mr. Echo, let you live."
Which means he has a soul.
He won't kill a child.
He has a soul shrapnel.
Unlike some of the other drug runners out of Nigeria, he won't torment children more than he already has.
Exactly.
More than is necessary.
And now he has a big bag of drugs, and he needs to do something with it.
What the? Well, where's he going to go to do that?
Well, I'd say he should go back to his old town where his brother's the priest.
Wow, that sounds like a great idea to me.
You remember the brother that was supposed to kill the man, but then Echo killed him instead?
Yes, that's right. That's right. His younger
and then
brother.
So this brother got to grow up on the straight.
Yes.
Straight and narrow.
He's got his own church, and he's helping the community out.
Yep.
And what's Echo doing? Why, he's arguably doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Makes
exactly.
You think. Makes you think. It's weird how two people can be in a family and then do opposite.
To be two very different people. It's like, what's a family that was really two different people?
You had George H.W. Bush, who was the president for 4 years.
And then Jeb was a failure. That's what you're talking about.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh, that's exactly. It's there. They couldn't be more opposite.
Jeb.
Oh, it's still. It's in this polarizing political climate, I'm glad we can all get together and roast Jeb Bush.
Yeah, we all don't like Jeb.
There's a great pic online out there of some like kids, not kids, but like young 20-somethings, who ran into Jeb Bush like coming out of like a DSA meeting. And so they were like, Jeb, can we get a picture? And Jeb's like, yeah, sure. What are you guys up to? And they said, we're socialists, right as they snapped the pic, and you can see like just all kinds of great expressions going through Jeb's mind. Jeb.
That's funny. Poor little guy.
Poor little guy. I mean, he did fuck up Florida a lot.
Yeah, poor little bad guy.
Poor little evil guy.
Poor little bad guy.
As far as a family of war criminals go, he's definitely like low tier.
Yeah. Oh. So he's the same.
Yeah, he's the same.
It's just like how Echo and his brother are both priests.
Echoes are. It's exactly that. It's exactly that. It's the Bush family and the Echo family are one and the same.
What is that? The Echo doesn't sway far from the Bush.
That's
family.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
That's an old saying. So Echo goes to the town, his old town, and he goes to the church, and this lady is like, hey, will you buy this statue of the Virgin Mary?
Yes.
To support polio vaccines?
Yes, to support polio vaccines for the village.
And he's like, nah, forget about it.
I got to talk to my brother. And he says, yeah, I'm going to give your confession. And then they says, not really, just kidding. So Echo comes to his brother Yemi and says, hey, I've got these drugs. If you make me a priest, I can fly them out of Nigeria. I will pay you for the, I will pay you for it. And
you can buy all the polio vaccines.
Exactly. And we get these drugs out of here. Everybody wins.
Yeah. A win-win-win.
But Yemi says, I'm not going to use church stuff to help you do your drug crimes.
Which is honestly good priesting on Yemi.
Mm-hmm.
Like, great job today.
Exactly.
What did you do today? I refused to do drug stuff with the church.
And you know what? If I were the head of the church, I'd say 5 stars.
Yeah. You're setting the bar higher than we can maintain, obviously, based on our record.
True. Oh, man. We need more churches like yours, Yemi.
Yeah, we need more people saying no.
Yeah.
I will do the right thing by God.
I will follow the Christian beliefs that I believe and not corrupt my community.
And Echo is like, I don't like that you said that, buddy.
So Echo ends up coming back with 2 of his goons.
Yeah.
And he says, listen. He says kind of like the thesis of the episode, which is, I know you think that like good is good and evil is evil, but righteousness and good they're not as far apart as you think. And at first it's like, okay, that's kind of Echo's class, at least this version of Echo's classic, just like, I'm just out here doing it, pragmatism.
Doing what I can.
Doing what I can. And then he kind of undercuts himself by saying, and I don't want to hurt you, but my friends, I can't be held responsible for what they're going to do.
They're going to burn this church to the ground. And it's like, it sounds like you're threatening him, Echo.
It sounds like you're explicitly threatening him. Yeah. Because it feels like you could say, hey, guys, don't.
Yeah, exactly. You are in charge.
Yeah.
You realize that, right?
Exactly.
That'd be like the manager of a store being like, I'm sorry, but like I want to give you great service, but my cashiers will steal your money.
Oh, my God.
They will do it. I can't control them.
There's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately.
They're gonna steal.
And honestly, it's your choice. You can buy with us,
yeah,
or you can get your money stolen.
Yeah.
And at the end, is it really worth it?
Is it really worth it?
It's incredibly that. And Yemi's like not happy with it, but he does end up signing the papers that officially declare Echo to be a priest.
Mm-hmm.
And so Yemi
roasts Echo with a couple great lines. He's like, just because I signed this doesn't mean you're a priest. And he also says, and then Echo says, as he's leaving, he's like, we're both sinners now.
Yeah.
And Yemi says, the only difference is God will forgive me.
Damn. Remember how this show's about religion?
Yeah.
I mentioned that this is probably
Yeah.
like the most. I mean, it's literally named after a Bible verse, so
Yeah.
not surprising.
What is it named?
The 23rd Psalm,
Oh.
which Echo ends up reciting at one point.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But yeah, it's explicitly very much like you mentioned. It deals with the idea of a god and a devil better than the episodes that actually seem to invoke God and the devil.
Oh yeah, that are about God and
Yeah.
also the devil.
Mm-hmm. But in addition to that, it also like explicitly is about like priests and Christianity and the Bible and shit.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's handled pretty well, I think.
For all its like issues with being a caricature of itself,
Mm-hmm.
the actual storyline is gripping.
For sure.
Yeah.
Where this ends up leading is Echo and his buddies are loading up a plane. They're
With drugs.
with drugs, and they're decked out like ministers. It's official. They're priests.
They're priests now.
Official.
One of
quote,
them
unquote.
just isn't.
That's true. One of them is
One
not.
of them is dressed like a drug dealer.
He forgot his clothes.
Yeah. Your goddamn uniform.
What a guy. What a bozo.
Could come in handy later.
Well, too bad. And they're loading up the car on the runway, and who should drive up but a little guy named Yemi. And Yemi says, "Don't do this. You don't have to do this, Echo.
Come back with me.
Come back with me.
I'll save you."
I'll save you." And Echo's like, "Save me from what? We're like literally about to take off. It's fine. There's no problem. We're gonna be out of here. Your hair."
Chill, dude.
And then up comes a car full of 6 guys with guns.
Yeah.
And they're military men. And
It is the military is here.
the military is here. And Echo says, "You called the military? Oh my gosh." And Yemi says, "It was the only way to stop this from happening." But they don't know who's doing. I didn't tell them who was doing this. So if you just come with me right now, we're good. Too bad. He didn't tell that to the other drug dealers because
Yeah.
the other drug dealers just start opening fire.
They start shooting
They start
the
shooting,
people.
and the military starts shooting back. And one of the fellas dies. The other fella ends up getting on the plane, and Yemi says, "No,
Stop all the shooting,
don't shoot,
everybody.
don't shoot. It's fine.
Stop all the downloading."
I didn't. You wouldn't download a heroin." Yemi says. Yemi notoriously anti-piracy.
Yeah.
Uninstall LimeWire now. Give Metallica all the money they deserve.
Seriously.
They need more.
They need more. Lars needs more paintings.
Give him more. He earned it for writing For Whom the Bell
For
Tolls.
writing the drums.
He wrote the drums.
But Yemi gets shot.
Yeah. The thing about this scene is that Yemi does get shot.
He gets shot and killed.
He gets caught in the crossfire, shot and killed. His body somehow ends up on the plane.
Yeah.
It's a very hectic and confusing scene.
Well, Echo and the other drug dealer carry Yemi to the plane.
yes.
And then Echo goes to get into the plane, and the other drug dealer kicks Echo out for some reason.
yeah.
That one is confusing to me.
It's later framed as like, this man, he saved my life.
Yeah.
But this man also never talks, so it's not like
Well, I
he's...
think he said it was his brother who saved his life.
No. He says, no, he finds this guy's
Oh, he
corpse.
finds the other guy, and he's
'Cause he-
like, "This man saved my life."
Yeah,
Wow.
he opens up his chest, and he doesn't have Yemi's necklace. And
Wow.
then he looks at his gold tooth. And he's
Oh,
like,
okay.
This is not my brother, but this is the man
So
who
it's
kicked
that's
me.
the guy who saved his life, who kicked
Exactly.
him out of the plane for no reason.
Exactly. For no reason, he's just... Like, it doesn't make sense for him to not just be like, Echo, come along. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Mhm.
they're partners in crime.
Exactly. But he's just like, you know what? Echo gets to stay behind.
I'm gonna take his dead brother.
Yeah, what?
It's gonna be me and Echo's brother's carcass.
So he just flies alone on a plane with Echo's dead brother. Very... I don't know what your motives
It's
are,
weird.
but sure.
Fucking weird.
And then the military comes up and they see Echo dressed like a priest, and they're like, "Are you okay, father?"
And
They just-
Echo's like, "Hell yeah,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
a priest now."
I'm a priest now. I'm gonna assume this identity, but I'm not really gonna believe it until I crash on an island later and actually begin to adopt this.
Which is nuts.
pretty wild. Echo's a murderer and a drug lord, is the thing about Echo.
Echo's a really bad guy. He killed a lot of people.
Untold numbers.
Untold numbers.
At least 2 that we see.
Yep.
Responsible partially for the death of his brother.
Yeah.
And that one drug dealer guy.
Yeah.
Who knows how many more?
I would assume a lot.
But you know what? Sometimes you get redemption, don't you?
Yeah, especially when you're Echo.
Especially when you're Echo. You land on an island, and then you're sitting with your stick and you're carving Bible verses into it. And Claire sits next to you.
Oh,
And what's Claire say? Claire says, meet my little baby. His name's Aaron." And then Echo, being of Bible time now, he says, "Oh, Aaron was Moses' brother," and says some more stuff about the Bible that I forgot.
and now we're on the island.
And now we're on the island.
And they have a little chat.
They have a little chat.
But the real thing that Claire wants to get at is she's saying, "Mr. Echo, could you talk to Charlie? He's religious, but he won't admit it." And Echo's like, "What do you mean?" And Claire's like, "He keeps carrying around the statue of the Virgin Mary." And Echo's like, "That is the drug statue." He doesn't say it, but he knows it.
He gets a twinkle in his eye.
He gets a little twinkle in his eye and a pep in his step. And he says, "That's my heroine, Virgin Mary."
Oh, yes. I don't know if we actually clarified, but this is the same plane that is full of the Virgin Mary heroine statues.
Yeah, on the island.
Yeah, on the island.
It's all intermingled.
It's all intermingled. This plane that you thought was just a random plane, turns out, here's its whole history.
Yeah, turns out there's a reason for everything.
Everything's connected on this wacky show called The Island Lost.
God.
God and the devil.
The island god.
The island's God is
The god
here.
of the island.
And his name is Mr. Echo. IMO.
I wonder if Mr. Echo stayed the whole time on the show, if he would have been the chosen one.
I think that was their plan.
Yeah.
Their plan was to create kind of like Locke and Echo were going to be built up to be antagonists to each other. Where Locke is kind of whether one is good or one is bad, but they're just in conflict with each other all the time.
Yeah.
But then Echo left because he didn't want to do the show anymore.
That's funny.
Which is fair. It's not the best show in the world. But
it was, though. I bet. Yeah. I bet for him it was probably sort of fucked to be like, okay, so I'm the Nigerian drug dealer,
yeah,
kingpin.
So yeah.
All of the scenes from my hometown, from my past, have hand drums in them.
Yeah.
It's okay, I don't want to do this anymore.
Understandable. And then the rest of the time you just have to be quiet.
Yeah,
you just have
exactly.
to be you just have to be quiet and angry looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand maybe not enjoying that.
Yeah. Having mixed feelings about that one.
Yes.
Heroin lady.
Heroin lady, Echo goes to get Charlie. Charlie is off being a little pissant like always. Him and Jin are fishing, or I should say Jin is fishing, and Charlie is
singing
at Jin and being like, "Hey Jin, you know the Kinks? You ever heard the Kinks?" And Jin's like, "I don't speak English."
Yeah.
and Charlie's like, "No, the Kinks, they're a band. The Kinks, you ever heard of them? Here's another one of their full songs."
I play the bass.
Okay, here's the thing that I was trying to get at before. On the Island Shuffle Twitter account,
Yes.
which I have done a piss poor job of.
You've done a great job.
Oh shucks, I've done an all right job of updating it every time we get a new episode.
Sometimes there's some pretty good stills on there.
I love a good still.
I'll never forget a still of Jack jumping into the water, shoes on.
Shoes on.
Just a pencil dive.
Pencil dive, shoes, jeans, and everything.
He's crazy.
It's a lot of great picks. It's fun to do. Anyways, the reason I bring up my Twitter account is because I recently made the decision to follow as many lost actors as I could find on Twitter.com. And I want to share with you Charlie's Twitter account. Charlie's actor, Dominic Monaghan. His Twitter handle is @domswildthings.
No.
No,
get out of here. Do I hate the actor Charlie worse than the character Charlie?
With a Twitter, well, let me share with you.
Or do I love?
I'm going to give you his latest tweet, which was tweeted while we were watching this episode, if you can believe it.
So this is fresh.
This is fresh. It's an image. It's text. It's just text in courier font, typewriter font, and there's a filter on it to make it look crinkly. And here's the text. The text says, "You will fall in love with something so utterly that it will crush you completely.
Who is
Eh,
this?
And this is how it should be. And then he captions it. The like actual text of his tweet is ... So the poets will tell you #love.
What the fuck? Is he real life Charlie Kelly?
He's
Is he writing the word love on bandages on his knuckles as we speak?
he might just be. This really made me think this is a tweet that that Charlie Pace would make,
This
unironically.
is insanity.
It really had me feeling unbelievable. There's another picture on Josh Holloway's Twitter account where he's hugging a dog. That's pretty good. The last thing I want to mention. I looked for Naveen Andrews on Twitter. Naveen Andrews, who plays Saeed. Saeed's not really in this episode very much, so I want to bring this up now while it's in my head. I'm just gonna show you this isn't verified, but it is the first account that comes up when you search for Naveen Andrews. And I'm just gonna hand this phone to James and ask him to
Naveen Andrews. Picture of him at Naveen_ANDR. Wow, I'm here, it says. And that's all.
That's all. Can I get a date on that tweet? on Naveen Andrews' only tweet?
28 July 2010.
It's good stuff.
Wow, I'm here.
I honestly, evergreen tweet.
That's really great. Is it him? It's probably him, eh?
I don't. Well, this might have been before Twitter had like check marks and verification.
Well, I feel like, yeah, and because he only ever did one tweet, it's like he didn't want to get verified.
Exactly.
A Twitter boy.
He probably tweeted once and then was like, "This sucks. Why would I do this again?"
Yeah.
That's how I choose to interpret it.
Wow, I'm here. I like that. That's good.
It's very good.
Dominic Monaghan.
Dominic Monaghan. Twitter.com. If you've ever heard of it, it's a fantastic website with absolutely no problems. Just kidding. It's the worst website on earth, and I want to die every time I use it. Except for when I look at tweets from lost actors and feel better.
Dominic Monaghan. I'm just looking at him.
Dom's Wild Things.
Dom's Wild Things.
Dom's Wild Things is like just like as cursed a handle as you can have. So, anyways, here's another one of Dom's Wild Things is getting yelled at by Echo. So Echo comes over and says, "Listen, take me to the plane right now." And no, he doesn't say take me to the plane. He says, "Where did you get this statue?"
Yeah.
And Charlie's like, I found it in the woods. I can show you where I got it. We can go in the morning. And Echo says, "No, we're leaving right now. We're going to leave ASAP. And Charlie says, "All right, let me go tell Claire so she doesn't get the wrong idea." "Tell her on the way," says Echo. Echo's very serious about finding this plane that's connected to his life. So Charlie and Claire have a conversation. Not really. They're just kind of like, it's classic, just like Charlie's like, so Echo smashed the Virgin Mary statue to show Claire
the heroin.
It's heroin. And Claire's like, "What's up with the heroin, Charlie?" And Charlie's like, "I don't need heroin. Look, I'll destroy this bag right in front of you. It's fine."
And Claire's like, "I don't want to talk to you.
I don't want to talk to you anymore." And so Charlie and Echo spend the rest of the episode walking through the jungle, and Charlie spends most of it griping at Echo and being like, "Look at what you did. Now Claire doesn't trust me anymore just because I lied to her.
Because of the heroin thing.
Because of the addiction that I'm lying about." What do you think of that, Mr. Echo? You friggin' stupid guy. And Echo ends up being like, so Charlie ends up leading Echo to like nowhere basically, and is like, "Here it is. Found it on the ground, just here. It's fine." And Echo says, "You did not find it here. Take me to the plane." And Charlie's like, "You know about the plane? How could that be?"
Yeah.
Well, what the heck? So Charlie's just kind of like still whining at him, and Echo immediately just starts roasting him and being like, "Oh yeah, what did you mean when you said you didn't want me getting the wrong idea about you? What did you mean by that? Because you didn't worried about Claire that you." And Charlie immediately goes on the defensive and says like, "You don't judge me, man. Just because I had a statue full of heroin doesn't mean I need heroin." And Echo's just like, "Gotcha, buddy.
Gotcha, you little idiot Brit."
They
He
end up,
says that too.
he does say that. He
You
says,
idiot Brit.
"You little stupid British man, I just wrecked your ass."
I just hashtag Brexit.
I think it was really cool when Echo said hashtag Brexit to
Yeah.
Charlie's face.
It was no one understood it for a long ass time.
They were all very confused. They
Yeah.
were like, Brexit? Why, Brexit's part of the European Union.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about,
But,
Mr. Echo. And then Mr. Echo died before he could explain what Brexit was.
He was going to stop this whole catastrophe.
He was. Well, I mean, look at us now.
Charlie Piss.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Echo. So
They get lost.
they get lost for a while. They find the body of the man who kicked Echo off the plane. And Echo says, "This is the man who saved my life." And then Echo starts kind of like praying. And while Echo is praying over a literal dead body and mourning him, Charlie's just keeps shouting at him and being like, "What's a priest doing in the middle of the jungle?
Stupid idiot.
What do you don't suddenly you know about a plane and you know about this and that, and I maybe do heroin, but you gotta come on. What the heck is going on?
Come on.
Come on.
Come on, Echo.
And Echo says, "Listen, we're getting close. Maybe climb that tree and you can see where the plane is."
Yes.
And Charlie replies, "This is the only good Charlie moment of the episode, in my opinion, where Charlie says, 'I don't want to climb it. And what if I do? And what if I don't? You're gonna beat me with your Jesus stick?'"
Yeah, that is a good line.
That's his one good moment.
Beat me with your Jesus stick is funny.
It's funny. And it does draw immediate comparisons to the fact that Echo has a Jesus stick, but he's also does a violence
Yeah.
sometimes. He contains multitudes, in fact.
Yeah,
you
he's a
could say.
complex man.
He's a complex man. He was once a drug lord, now he's a priest, and it's life's just so funny.
Life and death.
Life and death.
Talk about a ride.
Talk about a journey. Who needs the show Lost when you can be alive?
Yeah.
And then die?
Seriously. I've never felt more alive until I watched early season 2 of Lost,
Yeah.
and I've never felt more dead until I watched season 6.
It's all here. If you want it all, it's
Who
here.
needs
in
to
the
be
show.
alive when you have Lost?
That's just you've hit the nail on the head, my friend. Echo, so Charlie climbs the tree, and then suddenly Echo hears something, and what is it?
It's the smoke monster, and he is just blowing up trees all over.
He's blowing up trees all over. We get one shot of Smoke Monster Cam where it's just like cutting through trees and like shaking
Everything
really
is
weirdly.
exploding.
It's scary, and then it stops right on Echo's sweaty little face.
Yeah, Echo looks scared, but he also looks determined,
Yes.
and he looks concerned,
Yes.
but he's standing his ground.
Yes, he's resolute.
Yeah, he's
Um,
resolute.
Charlie, meanwhile, is pissing his pants
He
in
is
the tree.
peeing on the tree, which
And-
I mean, classic place to pee.
Classic place to pee is upon the tree.
Yeah.
And classic reason to pee is a giant sentient monster of smoke comes through.
Giant smoke sentience.
Uh,
Yes.
This is a sick scene because it's literally just like completely silent except for like the gurgling of the monster.
Yeah.
And it's just Echo staring down the like just plume of smoke.
Yeah.
As like the camera circles around them. And it's like probably the shot of the episode.
It's cool.
It's cool. It's also like, hey, remember when like the smoke monster was so much cooler?
Remember when the smoke monster was scary?
It was scary because it was just like, what the fuck could this thing possibly be?
And it was just a smoke monster. It was
Yeah.
nothing else.
It was, as far as anyone could tell, it was only motivated by bloodlust.
It wasn't the stupid unnamed man.
It wasn't a man they forgot to name who could shapeshift and have motivation.
It was mad at his brother.
and had poorly formed ideas about how to leave an island.
Yeah. Stupid man.
Yeah. As soon as they give that guy motivations, it sucks ass.
Yeah.
But
But here we have tension. And the
Yes.
smoke monster is like it's like honestly Echo respect.
yeah.
And it walks away.
Exactly. Which is cool of the smoke monster
Yeah.
IMO. And Charlie comes down and is like, "That was really wild." And Echo's unperturbed and says, "That's
Where's the fucking plane?
give me the
you
plane."
little
And Echo says, "It's
Brit.
it's that way. It's fine. Let's
Yeah.
go." And they go to the plane and they find the plane, and it's exactly the same plane that we know, the plane
Yeah.
that killed Boone, and it's full of Virgin Marys and such. And Echo looks inside. He finds the corpse of his brother and just starts crying.
Starts to cry.
Takes the little cross from around his neck. Oh, I want to highlight something that I forgot to mention in Echo's flashbacks, which is that when the when the drug lords are taking young Echo
Oh,
away, they fucking yank he's wearing like a little gold crucifix around his neck, and they yank it off of him and throw it on the dirt, and they say, literally, you won't be needing this anymore.
It's just cool. I think that's cool.
It's as on the nose as it is. It definitely works.
It's
because
badass.
And then Yemi has it.
Yeah.
And now Echo has it again.
Echo has it again. He does need it.
He does need it. And Charlie, for once, shuts the fuck up, and
Yeah.
it says, "I'm sorry, dude. I didn't realize that was your brother. That's gotta suck." Echo pulls down a tube of gasoline, starts pouring it all over the place, and burns up the plane. Pulls out a new Virgin Mary statue for Charlie, says, "For the one I broke, sorry about that." So he's, he wasn't being judgy of Charlie.
He just needed to get to that plane.
He just needed closure.
Yeah.
And so he burns the plane, and Charlie asks the pivotal question of the episode, "Are you a priest or aren't you?" And Echo puts on the crucifix around his neck and says, "Yes, I am." And then he starts reciting that famous verse that the episode is named after. You know it, you love it. It's Psalm 23, baby. And it's the one that's all like, as if this
I
episode.
walked through the valley
Yeah.
of the shadow of death. I took a look at my own and realized.
There's nothing left. That's exactly the one. Yeah. Coolio 13.
Coolio 13.
Yeah, it's a classic verse. And then this is like, Charlie eventually joins him in.
Yeah.
And then this eventually cuts to a montage of everyone on the beach being friends.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
It's
nice.
a nice little montage.
It's a nice little montage.
But then there's one group who's not being friends. And it's Claire is moving all Charlie's stuff out of their shared tenting area.
And Charlie says, "No," but Claire says, "You lied about drugs. I don't want you around the baby. Get gone, please."
You're out. You're out, you stupid Brit.
You stupid little Brit. I'll Brexit you, sir.
Yeah.
And Charlie gets Brexited, and he he ends up going to the woods and finding. Guess what? He said that one statue was the only one he had, but turns out he had a secret stash all along in the oven in the forest.
Oh
oven.
yeah, he has like a bunch of.
He has a bunch, and he's looking at it, and he's like, he's needling himself, and it's just like, damn. What was earlier just Charlie being a little over defensive now suddenly makes sense. He's got his own demons to work out.
He has a big old heroin problem.
Yep, turns out. There's one more subplot in the episode, and that's Michael.
Oh yeah, this is a weird subplot.
This is a little bit of a weird one. So Michael, Mr. Michael, he's lost his boy. And
he lost his boy. Mr. Michael lost his boy while walking to the park. Why did he lose his boy, you ask? Well, it was very dark.
It was very dark on the ocean of boy.
On the ocean of boy.
And another man said, "This is my boy now."
I take the boy.
He comes back to it. Then Mr. Michael comes back to his house on the beach and says, "My boy is missing," but nobody seems to give a hoot. And so
I loved how you rhymed beach with hoot.
Yeah, it's slant rhymes. Poetry, it's free verse. It's fine. So he goes onto the Apple II in his basement, and he logs on, and he says, at first he tries just playing Free Cell, and
doesn't work,
and he says, "What the heck's going on?" And then a text pops up, and it says, "Anyone there?" And Michael says, "Well, I'm here. Who are you?" And the text says, "Dad?" ? And it's Walt.
It's Walt on the other end of that computer. But where is he? God only knows.
God only knows.
Then
so
Michael goes away, or he disappears or something.
He asks Locke for training with a gun, and they practice by shooting full jars of mayonnaise.
Yeah,
Nobody on this
stupid.
They have no sense of food ever since they
always
found
waste
this hatch.
so much food.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then Michael goes back to online chat room, msn.biz, and he goes, he goes to the chat room at the side of all the sports streaming sites and says Leafs are gonna choke. And then Walt says, "No, this is the year for the Leafs."
Fuck yes, Walt.
And then
Walt
someone
is
else
a
says
smart boy.
And then someone else says probably 5 slurs in a row. And then so the computer in the hatch,
Yeah.
for some reason, can sometimes chat with Walt.
It can talk to Walt. This is never addressed.
Yeah.
It's never brought up again, I don't think.
I'm curious if our questions and answers
It probably
this week will
Yeah.
address this
Yeah.
and tell us why this is happening. But I doubt it.
Yeah. I think it will, and I think it will say ambiguous.
I'm hoping for a big heaping bowl full of ambiguous.
Yeah. Whole 2 scoops of ambiguous brand.
And healthy breakfast, honestly. Ambiguous O's. And so Michael goes down to the hatch to work a shift in the hatch, and while he's alone down there, he decides to start chatting with Walt. And he says, "Are you there?" And Walt says, "Yes, it's me." And Michael says, "Where are you? Are you safe?" And Walt says, "I'm not hurt, but you have to come get me. I'm at..." And right here, Jack comes in, and Jack says, "Hey, Michael, how you doing down here? Listen." Pulls up a chair, sits in it backwards like a guidance counselor. "Hey, what's going on over
Just
here?
wanted to chat, bud.
Listen,
Let's rap.
I know things have been hard for you lately, but I want you to know we haven't forgotten about Walt. We're gonna go as soon as we are able to. We're gonna get a party together, and we're gonna find your boy. I just want you to know that we're really thinking about you, and we're pulling for you."
Jack, you idiot.
And Michael is like, kind of just sitting at the computer, being like, "Thanks."
Okay.
And Jack says, "You okay? Everything good on the computer?" And looks at the computer, and the computer is wiped blank.
Yeah.
And Michael didn't get to see what Walt was saying.
It's a shame.
It's a damn shame.
And that's all that happens with that, right?
That's all that happens with that.
I guess later he'll probably try and go find Walt or
He'll
something.
probably run into the woods and say Walt, and he'll say Walt a lot, and everybody will say, like, "You shouldn't put our lives in danger." And he says, "Okay, what if I kill 2 women instead?" And they say,
and then he kills 2
He
women.
does kill 2 women.
Yeah.
That's the episode.
That is the episode.
IMO, good episode.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Pretty fucking, like,
Entertaining.
definitely, like, incredibly watchable. Even though Charlie's being a pest the whole time, it's probably, like, one of the most thematically coherent episodes of Lost we've seen today. Where it, like, integrates all the religion shit in, like, it's, like, pretty blunt about it.
Yeah.
But, like, the way it's, like, Echo starts by talking about Moses. Like, if you can recite, like, literally if you can name your episode Psalm 23 and then literally recite Psalm 23 in the episode, and, like, it still kind of works, I think that's worth something.
They did good. This was peak Lost.
This is definitely Lost being very good, and I liked to see it.
Who does the questions this time?
It'll be you this time.
It'll be me.
But before you get on that,
Uh-huh.
I have a quick little thing I wanted to bring up. So speaking of my sweet little Twitter account, right when our episode stopped airing, Stephanie, at Age of Oddish on Twitter, whom hosts Noise Space City Girls Make Do, just posted this tier list they made of all the Lost characters.
Aw.
And so I kind of wanted to run through it with you real quick and kind of address it and just kind of, I think it's definitely discussion worthy.
Yeah.
So it's separated into 6 tiers. So I think we should go from the bottom to the top on this one.
Yes.
The bottom tier has been labeled Shitty Baby tier, and there's only one person on it.
Aaron?
That would have been great. I don't think Aaron made the list, unfortunately. But it's Charlie, of course.
Charlie, of course. He is a shitty baby.
1 tier above that, no. And it is Jack, Michael, and Shannon.
Yes. Okay. This is good.
I also want to show you the pick that they chose for Jack. It's very good.
Fucking idiot.
True. Then above that is the tier Sure. This is the biggest tier. There's most of the riffraff is here. We have Kate, Juliet, Jin, Claire, Ana Lucia, Boone, Danielle, Richard, and Walt. They all make the Sure category.
Okay.
Next, we have good tier. These are explicitly good. We have Locke, Sun, Hurley, Saeed, Miles, and Faraday.
Okay. Whoa. Big call on the Faraday.
Big call on Faraday. I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah.
I think some of Faraday's backstory is shitty, but I like to see him go. I just want to.
Oh.
I like to see him be nervous about the island. Nobody's ever
And
worked.
Miles was on there, right?
Miles was on there.
Yeah, Miles is good.
Miles is good. I love. Here's what I like about Faraday. He's always nervous about the island. No one else is ever nervous about the island.
Yeah.
People are like concerned, but no one's ever like about to collapse due to anxiety.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so,
that is pretty much Faraday's MO.
Here's where things get interesting.
Uh-huh.
The second to best tier.
Uh-huh.
The hell yeah tier.
Yeah.
Two upon it.
Hurley?
No, Hurley was in good tier.
Oh, he was in good tier.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Ben.
No, actually.
His top tier?
Ben is top tier.
Oh, yeah. Okay, who are we dealing with here?
It's Sawyer
Okay, yeah.
and Vincent.
Yeah.
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 Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, that's lit.
Absolutely correct. And then in God tier, we have
How many?
2.
2?
Yes. One of which we
Ben?
Ben in God tier is interesting. That's maybe the most contentious one for me.
And who, can you give me a hint?
Can I give you a hint? I feel like any hint I give is just going to tell you what it is.
Is it Bernard?
Bernard is absent from this tier list, as is Rose.
I think Rose and Bernard should be hell yeah, not
Yeah.
God tier.
Yeah, they're definitely hell yeah tier.
Okay,
Absolutely.
who's is it Jacob?
Jacob should be in no.
Yeah, Jacob should be in no.
Yeah, Jacob and the nameless child is in no.
Who are we dealing with here?
Oh, Echo's not on this list either. I think
Yeah.
Echo's probably good tier. I think.
Yeah, Echo's probably good.
I don't think he has enough screen time to be hell yeah quite, but he's definitely good. It's Desmond.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like Desmond.
I like Desmond. So yeah,
I don't think that Desmond can do no wrong though.
I think that's true. I think Desmond is fallible, but
Yeah.
I think that's also what makes him. That's his like. I feel like a lot of Lost is a lot of people being like, "Oh, I fucked up, and now I'm getting my redemption."
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of characters, it's like, you don't deserve redemption, Jack. You don't deserve redemption for stalking your ex-wife and bursting into your dad's Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Yeah.
For instance, but Desmond's, for the most part, Desmond's like feels very much like a man swept up in something greater than him.
Yeah.
Which is not something I can say for all the other characters necessarily. I also want to share with you the pick that she chose of Ben.
Oh, that's really sweet.
It's a sweet little
I
guy.
like seeing Vincent right under that. Oh, Sawyer and Vincent.
It's great. Thank you, Stephanie, for making this tier
That's that's a good list.
and letting us announce it on Lost. I mostly agree with it. I have some issues about this. The thing about
What's Charlie's tier? Stupid baby?
shitty baby tier.
Shitty baby.
That's the most correct take.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
That's definitely true. So
I'd love to see where Bernard fits on that tier.
he's definitely hell yeah tier.
Yeah.
I think Desmond and Ben would have been God tier for me before I started making this podcast.
Yeah.
And now they're like closer to like hell yeah or good.
Yeah,
I don't know what my God tier would be. What's your
I
God
think
tier?
I'd put Ben there. And
Yeah?
maybe Sawyer just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think probably Sawyer.
I think we can't have done this podcast and not put Sawyer on the God
Yeah.
tier. But also he's explicitly racist sometimes.
Yeah,
so
I know. That's
it's
why
tough.
that's why you don't want to give him the God tier.
Yeah.
But I think I still would.
I-
He gets over it.
Yeah.
He grows.
He does grow. He learns to love Saeed, so it's fine.
And Chin.
And Jin. I think my God tier is Dave from the episode Dave.
Fucking Dave. No,
Uh,
my God tier is Trisha Tanaka.
Yes, thank you. My God tier is fucking the Dharma Initiative video man.
Oh, I really like the nerd crew.
The nerd crew, the entire nerd crew is on the God tier, and everybody else is on shitty baby tier.
Well, I have some questions.
Yes, I understand this episode raised a few questions.
It raised a few questions, and the first one confuses the hell out of me.
Wow, I'm excited to hear it.
Question number 1. Why did the monster scan Echo's memories?
Oh shit. So
I didn't even realize it did that.
when the camera's panning through, like it pans around Echo and it pans through the smoke.
Uh-huh.
This is very small, so I don't blame you for missing it. But you can see like flashes of black and white echo memories.
Okay.
And this is not the only time it does this, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it wanted to get off the island and didn't have a name. Who
It
fucking
used the
knows?
information from Echo's past to judge him and manifest as figures from his past.
Oh, it does do that. So
So
sure.
that's interesting, actually.
Yeah.
How is the monster able to use abilities such as scanning memories and showing them in images?
Oh my God! Because it was a real boy who got no name, and he fell into a pool of light because the art of the island turned him into a bastard man.
I should read this word for word.
Please do. I really just want to hear what it like what I said sounds bananas. It's probably not even that far off from what it is.
Not that far off. The monster was formed from the light at the heart of the island, which exists in every human being. This enables the monster to connect with a person's emotions, quote, downloading their fears and anxieties for analysis. It seems that as the monster is essentially made up of light and mass, it is able to shift these at will into whichever form it wills, enabling it to display or project images and also materialize in corporal forms. It is also to do so instantaneously. It is able to do so instantaneously in its flashes. I don't know what any of that means.
That's maybe the most comprehensive breakdown of what the smoke monster can do.
Yeah.
That we've seen yet. My favorite little detail that keeps coming up that I keep forgetting is that the light at the heart of the island and all the magnetism stuff is apparently also in every human.
It's in all of us. It's just a part of being a person.
Every person has a little light inside of them, and if there's too much of that light, it'll be magnets.
Exactly. It will be magnets.
It'll be magnets,
and
and time
move
will
through
go
time.
wacky.
Oh, this is a great question.
Please.
What are Michael and Walt planning over the computer? I don't think I would say they are planning anything over the computer.
What is their scheme?
Yeah.
They're gonna fucking just play. They're trying to link up to play Apex Legends. That's all it is.
No, Michael is planning to head north to rescue Walt armed with a rifle. However, he is actually being set up for a trap by the others.
Ah, so it might not even be Walt. It might just be the others fucking luring
Trapping
that.
him.
Yeah. Interesting.
And that's that. Those are the only questions.
Boy, small, but they pack a powerful punch.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That I love to think about the like I said, the smoke monster is so much better when it doesn't have motives. When it's just
exactly.
like this unknowable sentient hell beast instead of something that. And I guess that question didn't really pertain to its motives or anything. It just was like here's all the
what
things that
it
can do.
does. Yeah.
And obviously seeing it laid out all that way is stupid.
The light at the heart of the island.
I love this show and I want to watch more of it, honestly.
I went to random.org.
Did you now?
Yes. And I put in 1 to 60.
Yes.
And it gave me the number 38.
Let's see what 38 gives us. We've seen that one, so I'm going to need to ask you to re-roll that. Please.
48.
48. 48. We haven't seen this one. This is Season 5, Episode 15. Follow the Leader. Not based on any particular character. This is the episode immediately before the finale.
Okay,
So
it might be interesting.
It'll probably be interesting. It'll probably be some weird shit's going to happen. Ilana, I think, is going to be there for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know if Jacob arrives quite yet. Jacob might be finale exclusive, but you know what? We'll see next week, won't we?
Let's fucking do it.
Let's do it. Thank you for listening to our silly little show called The Island Shuffle. I've been Bean. You can follow me on Twitter at Barrier Trio.
I've been James. You can find all my doings at jamesbrown.space.
You can follow the show at twitter.com at Island Shuffle or at facebook.com/The Island Shuffle. In addition to finding us on iTunes and Google Play, big news, we're on Spotify now.
We're on Spotify now.
Yes. So if you want to listen to us on your favorite streaming app, Spotify, we're there, baby.
Spotify.
And finally, we want to give a shout out to our favorite network of all time, Noisepace.xyz.
Yes.
Thanks to Matt for hosting us there. Thanks to I had some Noisepace related announcements. Oh, 2 things I want to mention about Noisepace.
Yes.
1, brand new podcast. It's called The Ask Box, and it's all about Tumblr circa its peak in 2012, 2013.
The Ass Box?
Ask. The
Box.
Ass Box.
Okay, I thought maybe someone stole my idea.
Can you elaborate on your idea?
The Ass Box. It's a show where you talk about asses.
That's.
Where did they come from?
I think we finally. You know what? This is, I think, finally what we can do once we're done with the Island Shuffle.
Yeah,
that'll be our
the
next
ass
thing.
box.
The ass box. But until the ass box comes around, go listen to the Ask Box.
Yeah, the Ask Box.
If you want to hear about the internet before very particular and weird time in social media, Tumblr was my weapon of choice before Twitter, and yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Beautiful place.
Beautiful place. Great place with no problems at all. Oh, and another noise space thing I wanted to recommend. I wanted to shout out a particular podcast episode that I listened to and that made me cry laughing on the metro.
Yes.
The podcast Henry Kissinger Is Pokemon Going to Die? Podcast with a rotating cast of hosts. They often talk about politics of the day. And so I can understand maybe some hesitance if you don't want to necessarily, it's kind of a hell world that we live in. I think these guys do a great job of making the news like doing funny jokes about the news in a way that also treats it as like appropriately seriously as you ought to. But still, I can understand maybe you just don't want that kind of thing in your podcast life. I'm still going to recommend to you that you listen to Henry Kissinger Is Pokemon Going to Die? Episode 59, because instead of talking about politics this week, they chose to talk all about the upcoming app of Garfield Eats.
Oh my God.
This is episode 59, the waveform in the sand, and they talk about it, and they spend almost all the episode. Sam of Jurgenit and Roy of Podcasting Cloud Time, I forget the name, they get together and they decide, instead of talking about politics, let's talk about Garfield Eats, the app. And if that doesn't sell you on it, let me tell you what should sell you on it. What if it was a Toronto and Dubai based Uber Eats ripoff that delivers
my God,
that only delivers Garfield themed foods?
Okay, yes. I was so close to sold, but not quite.
And now I've got you.
I hope they charge extra on Mondays.
See, that would be good. That would be good. But instead, you should listen to this episode of podcast.
I want to hear all about it.
It's
I
great.
need to hear all about it.
Episode 59, titled "The Waveform in the Sand."
The waveform in the sand.
Please listen to it. I laughed a lot. And I also want to just leave you with this one question. If I ask you to give me Garfield's famous catchphrase, what comes to mind?
I hate Mondays.
Garfield Eats has a different idea. Garfield Eats thinks that Garfield's catchphrase is "Love me, feed me, don't leave me."
What the fuck? That's scary.
It's deeply
really unsettling.
And if you want to know more, listen to The Waveform in the Sand, episode 59 of Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die.
Someone needs to stop these people.
They're not stopping.
Garfield Eats.
Garfield Eats. It's an app that you can download.
Awful.
And if you live in Toronto, you can probably use it soon.
Wow. Oh my God.
Or
Dubai.
Twin cities. So that's that is the episode. I got really distracted thinking about Garfield Eats, as we all do.
That's insane. I will not forget this anytime soon.
No, I don't recommend that you do. I recommend never forgetting about Garfield or his eats. Don't leave him. Don't leave him. You can love him, and you better feed him.
Don't leave him.
Don't you dare leave him. And unfortunately, we are going to leave you with what we always say at the end of every episode. And that's, of course, get lost.
It's a lizard town. 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 Oh yeah, it's a lizard town.